Good day and welcome back to Elementary 72 Gaming. Now, we are back with another Tower of God video, and this time we're in the part of the story that is the most crucial to everything that goes down. We are in the workshop battle. Now, the last time I gave you a build up all the way till the last section where everybody starts meeting up. Now, in order to get to the workshop battle, Kun has to take up Wagnan's team to the next floor. So Kun devises a training strategy to get them ready for the workshop battle so they can win and take Balm back with them, because if they win, they get Balm. So he devises a strategy, he trains them up, they pass the test, they get to the 30th floor, they enter into the battle. Now, to make things more complicated, he's not allowed to tell anybody that he is alive, or the bet that is on between Fug will be devoid immediately. So Fug is playing it as follows. If Fug wins this competition, they basically keep Balm on their team, but they already have Balm to make it even more unfair to start with. The second thing is Kun has to beat their team in a game where they're going to have to go head to head with VO, and this makes things really complicated. So that's everything that is on the prelude of this entire situation. So they get to the 30th floor where they find the floating ship Archimedes. Archimedes is one of 5 huge floating ships in the tower made by the workshop. Now, the workshop, as I said, has a lot of lore to it. There's more than what I can even explain in a single video to talk about the workshop, but nonetheless, this is one of their vessels. On the end of the vessel, the floating ship that they made called the Archimedes, is a weird container. This container contains a boiling solution that can melt anything down. So that is part of what is on the Archimedes from the moment we first see it. All the characters get to see it, and everybody's getting ready to board the Archimedes for the workshop battle. Now, they arrived 3 days early for this event, and on the first night that they're there, a surprise basically pops up in the area where they're given a game, and this game is called One Shot, One Life, or One Life, One Shot. So the game works with a very simple principle. There are 3 items up for grabs at this first competition. The White Heavenly Mirror, which is for the person who shoots the most amount of people. The next one is the Blood Tamara for the person who shoots the first person in this game. And the last item is the Bong Bong. Now, these are 3 weapons made by the workshop. They're extremely good. They give you an edge in combat, most probably all the way up to your completion as a regular. These are D-class. Sorry. These are either D or E-class items, and they do have their advantage when it comes to using them. They can do quite a lot of magnificent things, and they're made directly by workshop artisans, so they are supposedly of the highest build quality you can get for any weapon. Okay, I'm not going to get into their functions just yet. I will get into it as we go on with this first game. So the game launches, and Ender Rossi, Anak, Shibisu, Hats have come together with their team, which has Vadi, Amigo, Vespa, and Laure on their team, and they are here to avenge Kun's death by the hands of Jovial Grace, because even though they may not seem like the tightest knit family, they really are close. They are unbelievably close for a team. They're the most close team that you can ever imagine without them having to have to show their closeness with each other. So nonetheless, they're all here to avenge Kun, who is still alive, who they don't know is alive, and who is shown as being dead in the last scene of the last arc, basically, in the pre-workshop build-up. He is shown to be dead with the hand of Arlene, and they announce that he was killed, and it's a whole lot of complicated things that go on. Now, in this first battle, they end up running in here, and as this game is starting, Balm ends up trying to help someone when he sees someone running away from what seems like a programmed droid. Now, Balm being Balm, he instantly one-shots this droid like it's nothing, and the person he helps is called the Traveler. We're going to keep up with the Traveler for a lot of the story from this point because the Traveler becomes an important member. We don't know what his entire goal is, but eventually it does play a role in everything that happens in the story. We do know that because he's part of a very conspicuous team, the team that's handling Emily, that's with a whole lot of other things that's about to come in. Now, when they get to this point, he explains that he's here to actually board the Archimedes by force and free Emily because Emily is a living ignition weapon, and if they don't get there in time, they're going to kill her. Now, Emily is actually a living ignition weapon, just like Hurain and Cassino, but the difference between her and those two is she was melted down. So she's a living ignition weapon melted into a solution. She can be reinforced and replaced into another object if needed to make another type of ultra powerful ignition weapon with the soul of a regular from the tower. That makes it unbelievably dangerous to leave this weapon as it is. So this is exactly what's going on. There's a whole lot of stuff going on to try and save her. A lot of these travelers are actually trying to make it onto the ship to actually steal Emily from the hosts. So the next thing that happens following this is the game actually kicks up into real fast gear. Khun, immediately realizing everything with the 3 items that are on display in this first game, he decides he's going to trick Wagner a little bit so that he can get some bullets. So he pulls the gun directly to Wagner's head and says he's just going to shoot Wagner so he can get the first item. And Wagner starts screaming like a lunatic, and thanks to his distraction, he caused some other regulars to barge into the room really quickly, and that allowed Khun to get their guns and their bullets. This here allows him to continue with his climb up the competition so that he can get into a good enough position. Now there are 400 tickets available for the Archimedes. That means that exactly 400 regulars have to be shot with either a light bullet or get shot and just go straight onto the boat. Now everybody has to have this. So you have to knock out regulars in such a way that you will have one person shooting someone to go up. You can't all just shoot each other peacefully and go up perfectly because that's not the way the game works. So the gun is given to them with a very special feature. When there's only one bullet inside it, you can't use a light bullet. A light bullet is used to shoot a person to send them up to the Archimedes. You immediately give them a ticket. And the other bullet, you only get one shot. If you miss, you fail the exam and you're kicked out immediately. And that's the way that it works. So it's kind of a little bit complicated, but I'll try and get it to the best of my ability to explain it. So Khun has devised the plan already just from hearing the basics. So the first weapon up for grabs is the Blood Tamara. The Blood Tamara is a reinforcement weapon that can make the person almost invincible because it reinforces your body like Shinsu. And then you can put Shinsu resistance on top of that to make you even more tough. So it's a super defense. The other item which is up for grab is the White Heavenly Mirror. The person who shoots the most regulars will get the White Heavenly Mirror. The White Heavenly Mirror is a knife or sword blade, and what it allows you to do is stab a person through the heart and put them in the blade. Now, the White Heavenly Mirror is a big time counter to the Blood Tamara. If someone has the Blood Tamara, they can obviously fight you off, but if you stab them with the White Heavenly Mirror, they will lose. And the last object up for grab is the Bong Bong. The Bong Bong is based off a mythical fairy that flies around the island. So if you get the Bong Bong weapon from this here, you have a transport system to move you around the island. If someone were to combine all three, they would have an almost unbeatable defense with the ability to take out any enemy who is too powerful for them to handle, with the ability for them to move around unbelievably quickly from place to place. So they can evade, fight, and they can defend themselves. Ultimate defense weapon set from the workshop for this first battle. Okay, moving forward from this part, the next thing that happens between them is everybody starts running around and gathering up to get bullets. Now Ban is busy helping the traveler, so he ends up running to get underground in the place where Shinsu is blocked, so they can't be chased by the level 30 Blue Dog patrol units, which are now chasing them because Ban one-shot the other unit. Now the whole idea is to take it out in this underground layer and then run away or lair. And the other thing that is happening is Ender Rossi is actually following Bam at this point. So she is looking to catch him and kill him for killing Khun. So yeah, this is extremely complicated. Now they get in underground and they set up their trap to take out the blue dog. And the next thing that happens is Ender Rossi shows up. And when Ender Rossi shows up, they don't know what to do, and she pulls out her gun from the one-shot, one luck game, and she puts it straight to Viol's head. Viol uses reverse flow control, freezing her in place, and he gets away from her direct aim. This shocks Ender Rossi because looking at the eyes of Viol, she sees Bam, and the technique is Bam's, and things are like so weird. At this point, the blue dog comes in and she starts fighting it, and the Traveler throws tank bombs at Ender Rossi because Bam says she is a tank. Obviously, a little joke ensues where Ender Rossi says, "Who you calling a tank?" And that is where we end off with the story, because Viol makes his escape, and he told the Traveler his name is the 25th Bam because he doesn't like lying all that much. He is really a very good person. So he gave the Traveler his real name instead of giving him the name that he's been given through Fug, Joe, Viol, Grace. Now at this point, Bam manages to get back to the hotel where all hell has broken loose. Anak has made her assault into the building directly, and she is fighting Ran and Novik. Now Ran and Novik were taken by Viol at the end of Arlene and made to join his team because he basically told them, Khun is still alive, he'll come back for you guys, just follow me, you don't have anywhere to go. So they obeyed and they're now part of his team. At this point, Anak is busy fighting Ran and Novik at once, and she's being a normal, wild, irrational, foolish self. She is making a mock. Now remember, these are top 5 E-rank regulars, so they really cause a big amount of damage. Viol jumps in and immediately he just instantly white bullets both Ran and Anak up to the Archimedes. So they taken out of the equation, and from this point onwards he starts moving around to get his team up onto the Archimedes. Now running around the building, he realizes this is by Shibisu, and Shibisu thinks things through right away. He already has a plan to combat Viol, so he most probably has a way to take on every one of his abilities. So he goes through, he tells everybody what to do through Novik. Novik carries out his commands. His command is quite simple. Get everybody up onto the Archimedes. He'll go and he'll pick up Yato on the bottom floor, who's actually Harwin in disguise. And from there, I will actually meet you guys up on the ship. You just have to get everybody to get shot and go up to the ship. So everybody does as they told on that side. Now Yato is in a fight with Vespa the bee, and Shibisu holding up the whole fight on the other side, along with the Migo being their big muscle backup. And Vadi is secretly below them, getting ready to deploy her octopus Rin Shinsu Drain on Viol. So Viol arrives in the situation, he gets Yato out of the situation, and he ends up getting his power bound with this ring. Now he goes and he fights Amigo, and Amigo closes in and fights him with almost perfect skill. And Viol is still quite a powerful individual, although his physical abilities are quite weak. Now during this point, Viol is busy fighting and Obam is fighting, and as he is fighting, he's really putting up a bad show. And then all of a sudden, Vespa stings Yato in the face, and they inform him that it's poison and she'll be dead in less than 5 minutes. At this point, Bam does what Bam does best. He loses his composure and he goes into full-out beast mode, scary mode. And when he starts fighting like this here, all of a sudden, where there was a power gap, he instantly closes it with Amigo. He wipes Amigo out with a single shot, and out of his back is this red line that's sticking up. And at this point, he just wipes Amigo out like he's nothing. He wipes everybody out in that team, and that's just what Bam is doing, base basically, with just base power. Now at this point, he keeps fighting all of them, and a lot of this is going forward towards where we're going to get to the next part. Shibisu is looking at it and he's like, how is this possible? He wasn't this powerful from what we analyzed on his last results. He's definitely weak to physical attack, and Amigo is really powerful and he doesn't have Shinsu. So he doesn't have Shinsu reinforcement, and he can't be using Shinsu right now to fight. Something is up with how powerful he is. He takes out Amigo and he grabs Vesper and knocks Vesper down to the ground. Now Vesper has the cure to its poison, her poison, and he takes his gun and he points it to Amigo's head and he says, right, you can cure my teammate or I can kill your teammate and we count ourselves as equal. So you choose now. You're already lost. And obviously they have him bound and everything, but he's still absolutely in control of the situation. Shibisu, realizing the big difference in everything, decides to reset everything in his plan. He calls it quits. He'll say, right, we'll meet you on the Archimedes, we'll beat you there. And at this point, he gives in to the request. They give the bee honey to Yato, who's actually a heroine in disguise. And at this point, everything is actually just perfectly suited to the situation. Bam sends Yato up to the ship, and then he sends Novik up, and I think he shoots someone to go up in the end. I'm not exactly sure how it worked, but he does get up to the ship. Now, Kun was running around at the same time trying to gather up the rest of his teammates, and he's running around with Wagner. Now, Goaseng, Arc Raptor, and Yua went up a lighthouse to go and view the city that they were in, where they were looking at Archimedes. And while they were doing that, the event started, so the three of them were locked in the tower, so they were safe. Now, while this was happening, Kun decided he's going to run out because nobody's going to jump out because they're too scared to get shot. So he ran through absolutely scot-free, no problem, all the way till he reached the lighthouse, and he goes up to his teammates and he says, right, we're going to send you all up to the Archimedes, but here's the thing. The two who are missing, Miseng and Prince, will have to find their own way up because they're regulars. They should be able to handle themselves. And that's basically how it goes. So, okay, one last thing. When he's getting up to the tower, he runs into two unsuspecting regulars, Cheng and Quattro Blitz. Now, Quattro is an absolute monster. Anyway, Kun grabs Quattro at gunpoint, and Cheng is holding Krapta at gunpoint with a shot to his foot to send him up to the Archimedes if he wants to. And at this point, everything is basically in favor for Kun. Kun is like, right, you can shoot my man, but I'll shoot your man and it will be over. So you choose right now what you're going to do. So he surrenders. And he's like, yeah, you know, I'll beat you if I have to fight you. And Kun is like, yeah, ask your left eye what happened the last time you fought me. And Cheng is like, you know, the way you would express it if you were a regular individual. And at this point, Cheng agrees to everything and they send him up. Now, at the same point, Wagner freaks out and he's like, we need to go find Miseng and Prince. We need to make sure our teammates are safe. So eventually, with all of his persistence, Kun eventually allows him to do exactly what he wants. And Kun is thinking to himself, I can see why Bam enjoyed him. He's just like him. He's a fool who wants to take everything with him all the way. So finally, Wagner finds Miseng and Prince, but they are being held by Vadi. Now, Vadi is known as the Doll Maker, and she's a very, very powerful regular. Kun already knows this because it's part of his original team, and he knows how dangerous their members are. They're unbelievably dangerous. They were probably the most powerful team in the entire E-Class regular system. So when Kun sees this, he's like, don't even think about interfering. You don't even stand a chance. Then he figures out what Shibisu was up to, and he's like, kill that octopus right now, do whatever you can to stop it. And when he thinks about doing it, he ends up getting knocked out by the octopus, and he meets up with Hureng, who's the last member of Bam's team. They meet up here at the bottom, and they basically get Vadi to say, don't worry, she's not going to kill these two. And then she disappears with them. She says she's going to make them her dolls. And all of this is done. That's the end of it. Everybody shoots each other and they go up. At this point, the unsuspecting wildcard shows up, and the unsuspecting wildcard being the crocodile. So Rak is in hiding at this point, and he just shows up out of the blue, and they're like, right, yeah, here he is. Rak is gonna be joining you guys from here on out. Hope you do enjoy what's going on with this whole situation. He's part of the team. They all jump up onto the ship. We don't get to see the nitty-gritty details of who they shoot in the end, but we are given enough information to know the Blood Tamara was worn by Baragraph. The White Heavenly Mirror was worn by Kun Aguero Agnes. And last but not least, Bong Bong was worn by Enderossi Jahad, who received a bonus ticket to get onto the ship because she ran out of time while she was chasing the Traveler. And that's exactly where the first game ends. So that's one shot, one life. And that is the #1 challenge of the workshop. I will be catching you all for the next one, where it is the showcase battle, and this has a lot to discuss. So see you all then, and have a good day.